Hello everyone, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Muhammad Swila. Today I would like to share with you in this small tutorial something that I was trying. I found it's very interesting actually. Maybe most of us already read about the AI generative models and how can this kind of generative models increase our productivity in daily work from 1x to 5x or 10x or something. I would like to share with you today a mechanism or a technique that can make the result that you get from AI generative models deterministic. But the question is, why should I care? Imagine that you can have the same result out of different generative models in the same way. This is very interesting, especially if you're gonna use this as alternatives or you're gonna use this to test something. Think of it like coding practice. You are writing a code and every time you are running this code, you expect to see some result for the same input. This is exactly what I want to show you today. Let me first introduce you to DSL or domain specific language. You can read this article on Martin Fowler website. A DSL is a computer language to target a specific or a particular need. So it's not like general programming language that can work with any kind of software. We build domain-specific language to target a specific need. You can think of it like CSS, regular expression, make, and SQL. Those kind of scripts were built to fulfill specific needs. You cannot use them for general purpose programming languages. And this is exactly what we need to do with AI generative models. We need to speak with the AI as we are providing him a DSL syntax. Ask the AI to solve our problems, whatever we are doing. Of course, you can think of learning the styles of the syntax, but actually, it's more simpler than this. And I'll show you this in a moment. Another good observation I observed while dealing with AI in such way, AI is very smart in understanding DSL. You will observe also the result almost the same. And by the way, we will try different generative models right away. First, let's take an example to let you know how can this help you increase your productivity. Draw.io is a platform where you can draw any kind of diagram, and I would like to use it to show you a simple high-level design. By the way, this is not a real system. This is from my vision. In fact, I drew it before recording the video. Suppose you are a user going to an insurance company to have some insurance on your car or on your apartment. The insurance department will collect your information first, and they will check internally with the policy company. Policy company do whatever they want. This happen between internal system and external system as well. Think of this like API request response model. Once the policy is validated and everything is okay, then you pass to the payment. From the payment, you check with the third-party payment system, and the third-party payment system check with the bank, and you are done. This is the high-level design. I would like to convert this to something that any software engineer can understand. Either he is back-end, front-end, full-stack, data science. What kind of formal diagram everybody can understand around API? Of course, it's the sequence diagram. So how can I formulate this? Maybe first thing you can think of, let's utilize Draw.io itself. Draw.io have some shapes for this. You can use something like this and have the live frame, and from there you can define whatever you want. Build everything you need here. Life is easy, right? Not really. The problem, this is manual, and with manual setup, every time you make a change, it's exposed to an issue. This issue might be from our manual setup itself, or maybe some corruption happened or something similar. So instead of doing this, why not thinking of something that can support us just to change like a code? So instead of doing this as manual setup, let's do it as diagram as code. Luckily, we have here Mermaid. Mermaid also is a good, you can think of it itself as a DSL for building diagrams. It supports you with multiple diagrams. For example, this is very simple sequence diagram. You can see here sequence diagram between the actors are Alice and John. Alice called John, John replied to Alice, and there you go. Now, I would like to utilize this in my setup. Why this? Because this can be reproducible, right? So if you need to reproduce it again, simply you get the same code and you run it. Of course, Mermaid come with an online platform where you can define something like this and you will see the result here, or maybe as a plugin. If you have something like Visual Studio Code, you can go ahead and find a plugin where you can use it. Back to our high-level design. Now the question is, what I need to do here? I need to have an actors and interactions. I need to tell AI, how can you do this in a deterministic way using some format, some syntax? Let's try something like this. I can tell any generative AI models, Mermaid, the triggering endpoint, API v1 insurance, the actors, users, insurance, policy, third-party policy, payment, third-party policy, payment, third-party payment, and of course the interaction. For the first interaction here is between insurance, policy, third-party, and of course the trigger, the user. So I can tell him user, insurance, policy, third-party policy, comma. After the comma I can tell him the second, what I need, insurance, payment, third-party payment. Of course, this bank just for demonstration purpose. Only once I can tell him return only response. That means after completing all of this, return to me the response. Now, let's jump to the interesting part. Okay, let me copy this. I will try this first maybe with Gemini, Google Gemini. What I need to tell him? Nothing. Exactly copy and paste. And let's see the result. I can certainly create. He immediately understand what I am requesting. Let me copy this, go to online Mermaid, add this, and voila. You have here the sequence diagram, the user called insurance, policy, third-party policy, and once the policy returned from the third party, it returned to the insurance, where we move to the second part, payment, third-party payment, and return the response, either it's a success or failure. And the most important thing, you have here the code ready for you if you want to adjust it. You may think of, why not doing this from the first glance? The problem is you need time. You will need time to build this at first time, at least. For customization, I don't need AI, I can customize it myself. But for the first time, of course you will need time. Okay, so this is so far so good. Let's try it with another generative AI and let's see. What is this? Beautiful, right? Let's copy the source code again for this and put it here. Did you observe any change? Same. I draw a complete system sequence diagram in 1 or 2 minutes. I do believe even the AI can help you annotate with something which you didn't think of, like this annotation here. Process payment, something he wrote on top of the request and response. Think of this, anything you are doing today with generative AI, not only for just sequence diagram, even in terms of code. Where exactly you can utilize something like this that will help you reduce lots of time thinking and designing and writing. You can simply do it in a simple way, but make sure you write it in a nice syntax formatted like this. Some guidelines for you. Whenever you write DSL, think of some important pillars. Something like actors, something like component, something like interactions. If you think always in these 3, you will observe a very beautiful result. Moreover, it will be deterministic. This is all what we need. I hope you learned something from the video and see you in the next video.